we can. Be punctual is appreciated. Okay. During the meeting, please be on time because now we started the meeting. And please turn on your camera when you can. We want to see your smile, and you are welcome to show gesture such as thumbs up, nodding, clapping, and the rest. And please mute or turn off your microphone unless you are speaking. Let's minimize distractions and appreciate people who are speaking. In the event of emergency, the host can mute the participants. And during meeting suggestions, call out the name of the person you are referring to before I start talking. And if you want to see everyone, switching view to gallery and speaker on the top right corner of the screen. Then please welcome our President, DTM Suban, to open the meeting.
Thank
All
you.
yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eddie, as our STA. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests. And on behalf of Empire Toastmaster, tonight, I'd like to declare that Empire Toastmaster Club number 01491511 is open for public. Please clap your hands. And now, without any further ado, let me call our MC or our Toastmaster of the meeting. Please welcome Toastmaster Eddie Suaib.
So we meet again just as SEA. I'm also tonight as the Toastmaster of the meeting. So let me start it to share what we have tonight. So our theme tonight is finding your inner funny. And the agenda will be broken down into some session here. So if you see that we will start with the prepared speech. So it takes around 4 to 6 minutes for those taking their icebreaker speech, and also 5 to 7 minutes for those presenting their speech project. And this is designed for members of the Toastmaster. And then let's move on to educational session by Reggy Hasibuan, our guest speaker for tonight. And the next, let's move on to the next agenda. It is a table topic speech. And this is designed for members and also guests who wanted to get involved in a 1 or 2 minute speech. And then you will be over some topics, questions related to tonight's theme. And before we end the meeting for tonight, then we're going to have a speech evaluation. There will be 2 to 3 minutes. And this will be conducted with our member as well. And then without further ado, let's introduce our evaluation team for tonight. So here we have our general evaluator, DTM Arlan Setiawan, will introduce his team for tonight. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the meeting, my fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
I remember when I came to Toastmasters meeting for the first time, I didn't have a clue, zero knowledge at all about how the learning process was conducted. So I asked the person who sat next to me, where is the teacher? You know what he said? He was whispering to me because the meeting was in progress. We don't have any teacher. Then I asked him again, then how do we learn? No teacher. Yes, we learn from other members by watching their speeches and by applying their feedbacks to our speeches. It's about friends helping other friends. Then the first speaker began to deliver his speech with his broken English. I don't want to be rude, but I didn't understand a word he was saying. And most of the time he was stuttering, mumbling, and in the middle of a speech, he stopped because he went blank. Then he apologized and returned to his seat. And I asked myself, how in the world am I going to learn from this guy? Then the second speaker delivered his speech, and he was a seasoned speaker. His speech was incredibly inspiring. I wanted to be like him. And then I came to understand that's how the learning process. You listen from the better speaker. And by applying the feedbacks. So evaluation is pretty much like finding the blind spots that we as a speaker are not aware of, but other people's are. My job as general evaluator is to evaluate the whole meeting from the beginning right to the end. And I will take note on everything that happens and everything that doesn't happen. And I will give my report at the end of the meeting. So now at this time, I'd like to introduce my evaluation team to you. And in turn, each of them will explain to you what their duty is. Now let me start with grammarian. We are so lucky today. We are very blessed to have a very special grammarian. She is from UK, but right now she's residing in Singapore. She belongs to a club called Brother Heights Advanced Toastmaster Club. She is an ACG ALB, one more step to be a DTM. So, Toastmaster Angela, it's all yours. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, I'm here to help you to speak good English and better English. The word of the day is hilarious, and I think you will have some hilarious speeches, possibly even some hilarious evaluations and some hilarious table topics. I shall be noting down the words you use which are good, the word of the day, the amusing words, the interesting words, the positive words, and if I hear any odd words, I shall point out something equally good or better you could have said. So that's my job, and I'll be back later. Now, just one thing I'd like to remind you about, the word Toastmasters, if you look at your program, if you printed it off as I have, you'll see the word Toastmasters International and Toastmasters Club. So one Toastmaster but 2 or more Toastmasters. That's a bit challenging because English is different to other languages, but if you can grasp that one, that would be a great help. So I'll come back to you with some more ideas later. Back to you, esteemed leader.
Toastmaster Arlan, you are mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Angela. Yes, English is so confusing. Sometimes you say one fish and two fish, not two fishers. Now we'd like to move on to our next evaluation member, which is the counter. Our counter of the day is Toastmaster Linda Wati. So Toastmaster Linda, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, DTM Arlan. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests and fellow Toastmasters. So tonight I will be your counter and I will take notes about your pause fillers such as or and I will be taking notes about your overused words. So if you repeat several phrases or words repeatedly, I will be taking notes on that. And also, I will be taking notes about how many times should we repeat our word of the day. And after our meeting, I will report the number of times that everyone has used. Okay, back to you, DTM Arlan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Linda. Now we'd like to go to our next member of the evaluation team, which is our timer. Now today we have two timers. Yeah. One is our future Toastmaster, Kevin, and the other one is from Malaysia, professional timer. Now we like to hear Toastmaster Kevin explaining what his duty is.
Kevin has a problem with technical issue, so let's move on to
Okay, so we have a backup timer, Toastmaster Lai.
Thank you, General Evaluator. My duty as the timer is to track the time for our menu speech, table topic, and evaluator. For our menu speech, tonight there are two. I will turn my virtual background into green color when the minimum time is reached, yellow color when there was minute left, and red color when the time is up. For our table topic, I will turn my background when the speaker has reached 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds on the yellow color, and red when the time is up on the 2 minutes mark. And for our table topic, I will turn my virtual background into green color when you hit the minimum time 2 minutes. Yellow color, 2 minutes 30 seconds, and red when the time is up, which is 3 minutes. And please write up your speech when you when I turn my virtual background into red color. Back to you, General Evaluator.
you are mute again.
All right, okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Lai. It was a very detailed explanations. Now we'd like to hear the ballot counter. And today our ballot counter is future Toastmaster Laura.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Thank you, Mr. and Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and welcome guests. As a vote counter, I will collect and count the ballots, hold up a ballot as an example. When the audience votes for best speaker, best table topic speaker, best evaluator, and best program manager. I will not cast a ballot myself, except in the case of a tie, in which case I will cast a vote to break the tie. I will not announce a tie vote, but will cast one when there is a tie. For table topic speaker who use the word of the day, I will add an extra vote. At the end of the meeting, I will announce and award ribbons to the winners of the votes. The ballots also have space to write comments to each speaker. Evaluator and table topics participants, please place comments in the containers and I will deliver them to the appropriate speaker. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Wow, that was your first time, but it was really, really good, Laura. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, those are all my teams who will be helping me to do the evaluations. Now, I would like to give the control back to our Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you very much, our General Evaluator DTM Arlan. So like what I have shown you previously that, so we have the first agenda, which is prepare a speech. So if you see the screen, then our first speaker for tonight is Surya Wahyudianto. Will be evaluated by his evaluator, Elios Tevolis Gandawijaya MC3 PM3. I would like to welcome his evaluator, Elios Tevolis Gandawijaya, to introduce himself and also the speaker. Time is yours.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, now I'm going to introduce our speaker one. He is a very famous public speaker in Surabaya and he is very fluent in English and I hope that we can run together from his speech today. His name is Surya Wahyudianto, CCCL, and he is going to deliver his first speech ever in Toastmaster, Icebreaker. And the time is 4 to 6 minutes. With the title, I Wish I Had Listened to My Father. Well, I should mention the purpose statement first. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn basic structure of a public speech. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, are you ready for an hilarious speech by Surya Wadianto? I wish I had listened to my father, Surya Wayudianto. Surya Wayudianto, I wish I had listened to my father.
My father was a pilot, the pilot of a city bus, not an Airbus. Well, you're right. He was actually a city bus driver. But to me, he was as cool as an Airbus driver. You know, when he left home for work, he would dress in a nice uniform, leather shoes, sunglasses, and one thing, he also had this big mustache that not only made him look more charismatic, but also made him feared by the neighbors and the children. I was so proud of him and wanted to be like him. Problem is, my father didn't want me to be like him. And one day, he told me, well, son, being a city bus driver was not something that I really, really wanted. I could have ended up being something else, much better than this, if I had listened to my father. And then he went on. When he was a kid, his father, my grandfather, always reminded him about the importance of studying. So my grandfather had always told him to study, study, study. But my father's response was always, no way, no way, no way. Then most nights when he was supposed to be at home reading books, revising his lessons, he would go out, hanging out with those bad kids. But then he regretted. Then he told me again, that's why I don't want you to regret like I do. What I want you to do is to study, study, study. Actually, I wanted to say, no way, no way, no way. But then I remembered his big mustache that made him feared by the neighbors and the children. So every single evening, my father would make me sit at my desk, reading books, revising lessons from school. While at the same time, other kids in the neighborhood could happily play, running around, shouting excitedly. I was sitting at my desk, reading books that I didn't like, revising lessons that I didn't enjoy. I complained, but I couldn't do anything. But there were times when my father was away from home. He went out. So I could use that time to sneak out of my room and join with the kids in the neighborhood. Then one day, my father went out again. It was a good time for me to sneak out of my room and join with those kids. Then I shouted happily. I ran around. Then I saw my father return home earlier than I thought. I was shocked. And then when my father arrived home and found that I was not in the room, he was furious. And he asked my mom to call me. And when I arrived in the room, my father lectured me for hours and hours. From that moment on, I never did that again, fearing that my father would be angry to me again. Many times I felt that my life was miserable. How come I should do things that I didn't like this while other kids could enjoy their time happily out there? But many things that I didn't understand as a kid. Well, actually, even though I was not the brightest kid in the class, but I could go through high school, could go through school quite smoothly and almost without any hassle. When I finished elementary school, I could go to a favorite school, junior high school. When I finished junior high school, I could go to a favorite senior high school. While other kids, my peers, find it difficult and struggle to do that. Then one big surprise came to me when I finished junior high school. There was a graduation ceremony, and all parents were invited to come. My father came with my younger sister. In the ceremony, the school headmaster gave a speech. And his speech, he mentioned about the top 10 students of that year among 200 students in the school. He mentioned student number 1, and then student number 2, then student number 3. When he came to number 7, he mentioned my name. I was shocked, happily shocked. Never in my life had I been in the list of top 10 something, top 10 this, top 10 that. So that announcement really made me excited. When the ceremony was over, my father came to me and congratulated me. Then I could see tears running down his eyes. That was the first time I'd seen him cry because of my achievement. Usually he cried because of my disobedience. And at that moment, I realized that the lesson, the the lesson that he instilled in me was something that's really, really important for me. Not for his benefit, but for my benefit. And then that moment also reconnected my relation with my father to be more closely. That moment also made me think that actually the hard work that I did really paid off. And I thought that I could do much better than this if I had listened to my father. Thank you. Back to Tom.
Thank you very much. Please give a virtual applause to Toastmaster Surya as his highest Brooker speech. Okay, I see how you feel when we see the one we love cry like our father in front of us due to our achievement. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Surya. And now let's move on to our second speaker. But let me introduce you for her evaluator. So her evaluator for our speaker 2 is Toastmaster Yenimo. Toastmaster Yenimo?
Yes.
Yes, the floor is yours.
Climb high mountain, yawning, looking, and all. Let me introduce Toastmaster Titin, so today her speech can run very well. Toastmaster Titin, tonight will bring the level 1, project 1, persuasive influence. With the title, Look for the Good in Everything. Why? Because life sure would be sweeter if everybody would. Your time is 4 until 6 minutes. Toastmaster Titin looks for the good in everything. Look for the good in everything. Toastmaster Titin, the floor is yours.
Look for the good in everything. Life should be sweeter if everybody would. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. The ability and willingness to see good in everything is essential, especially in this difficult time of pandemic outbreak. Sometimes we don't understand God's plan for us. And we might wonder why this bad thing happened to us. Why? Why us? Well, when life gives you lemon, make a lemonade. My name is Titin, and I would like to introduce to you as a person who always choose to look at the good in everything. Why? Because we cannot generate positive results with negative thoughts. Rejoice! Life is hilarious. When I was in high school, my mom used to ask me, Titin, what would you be when you grow up? My answer was, I want to be a person who is always well prepared and ready for every season in my life. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, my parents waited for 4 years long for them to have a baby. And finally, my mom was pregnant with me. I am their only child. And now I am happily married with 2 lovely daughters. They are my sunshine. They are miracles in my life. I learned to give my unconditional love from them. May I request a love sign with your fingers? Thank you. Give this love to yourself. We usually ask other people, how are you? How are you today? But have you ever asked yourself, how are you? How am I? Are you okay? Am I okay? Well, I love myself and I cherish my hilarious life. So I hope that I can make the most of my life through my work. Now, let me tell you about my professional life. In the morning time, I teach in a university. I like my job because I need to always keep myself updated. And I also love cute things. So I sell souvenirs for babies and kids' birthdays and other occasions. And in the afternoon until the evening time, I teach and I supervise at my own tutorial place. I'm still striving to make my businesses become autopilot. And especially during this pandemic outbreak, the situation is not very good. The customers of my souvenirs are declining because nobody dare to gather together and have a party. And the number of my students are also declining. But despite this difficult situation, there is a blessing in disguise. That is, I found a great club, Toastmasters Club, with supportive members. Well, look for the good in everything. So to end my speech today, allow me to sing again the song that I have sung in the beginning of my speech. Look for the good in everything. Life sure would be sweeter if everybody. Thank you, and back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, and give such a virtual applause for Toastmaster Titin has successfully delivered her icebreaker speech. So when life gives you lemon, make it lemonade. Thank you very much for the sharing. And I hear that you are a teacher, while at the same time you also a business owner. Thank you very much for sharing. And then now, without further ado, let's move on to our next speaker. Speaker number 3, Toastmaster Sarif Mansur. But I'm not going to the one who will introduce him. I will call his evaluator, DTM Suban. DTM Suban, the floor is yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tonight, we are going to have our special speaker as the third speaker. He is very special because he was the president of Empire Toastmaster a couple years ago. And to be honest, I haven't met him more than, I think, 6 or 7 years. Yeah. And now it's like a reunion because we meet by using internet. And our speaker, former presidents, will present a very challenging speech and hopefully hilarious speech. And before he's going to deliver his speech, let me read the purpose first. The purpose of the speech is, for this project, is to present a speech on any topics, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. And also the purpose of the speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our past presidents with a very nice title, Open Source for Everyone, Sarif Mansur, Open sauce for everyone. 5 until 7 minutes. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Pak Suban. Can I allow to share screen, please?
Let's try.
Okay, it's already allowed.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I saw my wife staring on her mobile phone. So I'm curious and asked her, "What are you doing?" And she said she's watching a movie. And I asked her, "What are you watching?" She said, "Mulan." So I'm confused. It's confusing and hilarious moment at the same time, because I realized that Mulan is only streamed on Disney Plus application, Disney Plus channel, and we do not subscribe for Disney Plus channel. So I asked her, "How can you watch Mulan? We do not subscribe on Disney Plus channel." And she said she watched it through Telegram. And I directly confront her that you're not supposed to watch it through Telegram. You just can buy or purchase or subscribe Disney Plus channel. You can watch it through the allowed application. And she's still on her opinion that she did not do something wrong. It's available on her phone and she just can access it. And here we go. We start to debate and arguing, and you know who is the winner? Of course, not me. And what I want to imply is that people, especially Indonesian people, still have issue with legal. And it's not only happened with the art things such as movie or music, but it also happened to another thing such as software. And if we have issue with the legal software, we come to a next question. Do we have another solution, or do we have solution for this legal software? And this is what I want to deliver to you. I want to talk about open source for everyone. And what is open source? Probably most of people ask it. What is open source? Actually, open source have a quite complicated definition, but I'll try to make it easier for you by referring it to open source software. Open source software is actually some software which were developed by a free source. So software is developed by source, but there are closed source and there is open source. The closed source is developed by private companies such as Microsoft, and that's why make it pricey and commercial. But on the other hand, there is open source, which is developed by society or by a group, by community on whole world, and you can access this software, or you can access this code, this source free. You can even redistribute it, and you can build the source code into another software, etc., etc. And let us look at this infographic. Would probably be common with these two operating systems, Microsoft with its Windows and Mac operating system. Many people still think that Microsoft Windows in their personal computer are free, but it's not. If you purchase a personal computer or notebook, after it, you still have to purchase the operating system, which is not free actually, but many people still think it's free. The legal price of the Microsoft Windows itself, price between 139 US dollar until 309 US dollar. How about iMac or Macintosh operating system? Well, actually, Macintosh operating system is not purchased separately, so you can have it by purchase the Apple product itself. And the Apple product itself, the price of the Apple product among 1,200 US dollar up above. And if you're asking, is there any operating system that really free of charge, that available to use? I might say yes. And maybe not many people know that there is Linux operating system, which is developed with this open source code, and the name is Linux. If somebody asks, is it difficult to use operating system that has name Linux? I would say it's subjective, however, I use Linux as my operating system since 2005, and I've got no problem at all. I create all of my content, all of my work using this Linux, and I'm still alive, actually. How about the software? Ladies and gentlemen, and fellow Toastmaster, you might always or common to read or see this name of software, and actually these softwares are proprietary software. They have a price. If you want to use them, you need to pay more or purchase more. And I do not say that you should move to operate to open source software. If you want to use this software, it is very okay. It's okay. But I suggest keep in our mind that this software is actually commercial software. You need still spend some money to use it legally. For example, Photoshop. If you need Photoshop, you need to spend it 20 US dollar per month. And if you need AutoCAD, it's not available for free. You still need to purchase it, 4,000 US dollars. But if you do not want to spend this kind of money for only this kind of software, we have some solution. And the name of the solution is the open source software, or I make it OSS. You can replace Photoshop with Gim. You can replace Microsoft Office with LibreOffice, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say that we always have choice in our life, and it's our responsibility to choose the right choice. Back to our Tom.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Sarif Mansur, giving us such a virtual applause to our third speaker. So I agree with you that each of us here has our choice. It is our responsibility to choose. We want to use the one where we need to pay. It can be monthly or yearly, or you can use the free one. So Toastmaster Sarif has shown two comparison between the operating system, the paid or the free, and also the software one. And without further ado, let's move on to our speaker number 4. So our speaker number 4 is Toastmaster Yankee Islianto. So I'm not the one who will introduce him, so I'll let his evaluator, Toastmaster Aryani Sanjung, to introduce our speaker number 4. Toastmaster Aryani Sanjung.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible? Hello everyone. Tonight we will release and enjoy the remarkable performance from our member, that's Toastmaster Yangki Isrianto. Toastmaster Yangki Isrianto will deliver for her level 1 project, 1 evaluation and feedback for the first speech. And I will read the objective of this project is for member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. And the points concern of this speech is member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic. And the speech may be humorous, international, or any style the member chooses. So let's welcome our speaker, Toastmaster Yangki Isrianto, Dare to Fail. Toastmaster Yangki Isrianto, Dare to Fail. Screen is yours, Toastmaster Yangki.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is my second table topic speech. While in the previous meeting, I talked about myself, my interests, and a bit of my experience. So tonight, I want to share to you all about one of my life principles. This is how do I get on my life and how do I face failures. So the title is Dare to Fail. The title itself is derived from a book that I have read when I was a small boy. The book inspired me to try a lot of things. Now I want to remind you all about a movie, a cartoon animation movie. I bet that most of us already watched the movie. The title is Kung Fu Panda. The main character is a panda called Po, a very panda who was bored with his routine life. He make and sell noodles at the market. So one day he wanted to learn Kung Fu. In the process of learning Kung Fu, at one point he felt exhausted and he tell his Shibu, his teacher, named Master Ukwe, which is an old and a wise turtle, that he wanted to quit. He wanted to quit learning Kung Fu and back to making noodles again and forget all his dream to be the Kung Fu master. But his wise Shifu, Master Ukwe, told him not to quit. He told him that Po was to worry about the future, and he said that yesterday is a history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why this is called present. After that, the Po really inspired and feel energized. He learned from his previous failures and mistakes until he can master the Kung Fu and become the dragon warrior he always wanted to. What I want to note here is there will be always failure in our life journey. There are even more failure than success, but the irony is there are more books of success or great achievements than the books that tell story about failures. So do not distracted by the achievements of others people's success story. There will always many untold stories about failures behind that. In fact, let us mention some great names, innovators, and great achievers. If we look deeper in their story, we will find how they get up from their failures. For example, Walt Disney, the creator of Disney World and Disneyland. When he founded his first animation company, he went bankrupt. And he was told that he is a lazy person with no creativity. So then he got up but then he failed again until he started to create a character of Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse that made his work well recognized. He encountered many times of failures, but he did not quit. After falling down, he got up with a lot of energy because of his passion and his hard work. Or maybe I should remind about the story of the founder of second largest valuation company in the world today, Steve Jobs, who was the CEO of Apple and the company founder. He failed to finish his college education. He was dropped out from the university and he was fired from the Apple company that he was founded at the first time. But he also did not surrender to failure. He founded Pixar, an animation studio, and he get back again to Apple. Now he is being remembered by his famous quote, "Stay hungry and stay foolish." So there were a lot of failures among many people in climbing up their way upstream. And what is the common thing among them? So that they are being successful in pursuing their purpose? Maybe is it wealth or family background? The answer is no. Do you know that J.K. Rowling is so poor that she have to went to cafeteria almost every day to get warm and write her novel because she cannot afford a room heater. She consistently write her novel for almost 10 years and finally famous, and she become very rich, and the novel are sold more than 5 million copies. Or maybe among successful people, they always face easy condition. There is no big obstacles or hardship. The answers once again is no. If we read the story of Helen Keller, although she has many disabilities and handicap, but she wrote 14 books and being activist, lecturer, and civil advocate at the same time. He's famous in his country and the world. So if I can conclude, there is one common thing among them. They all share the same principles. What is it? It is the perception to their failures and they respond to their failures. One big challenge is this greed, this perception and this response to failure were not taught at school. I also wonder how come this surviving skill were not taught at school. Next question is, how do we perceive failure? Me, myself, I have faced many failures in my life. I have failed many exams, failed at college, failed at work, but the failures will never stop me. I learn from my mistakes and innovate better. And as a closing remarks for this speech, I want to tell one short story. One day, there's a student asked his teacher, what is the difference between a beginner and a master? The teacher wisely replied that the difference between a master and a beginner is that the master has failed more times than the beginner even tried. So, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, let's dare to fail and carry on our perilous life. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster of the meeting, Mr. Eddie Swag.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Yangki Islianto. Give us such a big virtual applause to him. So valor is a science that we are trying. So many untold story that builds us to grow and use the story to encourage us to reach our goal. So before we move on to our much awaited session, educational session, so let's take pictures first, right? This is that we've been waiting for. So please turn on your camera. I will take the pictures before we started to, okay. So, okay, we have 2 pages, 2 screens here. So let me start here. So with the formal one, so let's start here. The formal one, I will take the formal one and the funny one, because the topic today is find your inner fun. So the formal one, okay, 3, 2, 1. Keep it. I'm going to the next page. 3, 2, 1, the formal one. Okay, now let's do the funnier one. Okay, the first page, the funny one. Okay, Borona, 3, 2, 1. Keep it, hold it, hold it. The next page. 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you very much. And here you go. Our next much awaited session is going to be educational session with the theme today is that finding your inner funny. So our speaker today is Toastmaster Reggy Hasibuan. So he's a public speaker, the first stand-up comedian in English in Indonesia, right? Debate coach. So let me read it for you. So in 2007, Reggy has won British Council Climate Champion. 2008, Indonesian Young Leader, representative for Youth Alliance Summit, New York, USA. 2009, runner-up of MetroTV, the next leader, Indonesia. And 2016, runner-up of Toastmasters District 87 International Speech Competition, Kuching, Malaysia. And also he been invited to speak in many prestigious events, such as TEDX Tugu Pahlawan Surabaya, TEDX Prasetiya Mulya, and the Asian Humanism Conference for 2 years in a row. And he is currently active in digital media world as a script writer, content creator, and he's now as a Om Ganteng, or we call handsome uncle. And here we go. The floor is yours, Toastmaster Reggy Hasibuan. Given us such as a virtual, how's everyone?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I visible?
Very clear.
All right, then. I'm going to start with a little story. A young boy asked an engineer, and he said, when I grow up, I want to be just like you, an engineer. The engineer said, yes, work hard, study hard. You too one day can become an engineer. Another boy asked a doctor. He said, when I grow old, I want to be just like you. The doctor said, yes, learn hard, study hard, and one day you can be a doctor too. The third boy approached a comedian. He said, when I grow old, I want to be just like you. The comedian said, are you sure? You know what? Try being an engineer first. If you fail being an engineer, try being a doctor. If you fail being a doctor, then you can be a comedian. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I said this is because being a comedian is not something common, especially for an Indonesian. Being funny is not common for any Indonesian, except for, you know, the middle-aged bapak when they are nongkrong, when they are hanging out with their friends. Indonesians are mostly funny when they are hanging out together. On stage, they froze. It is not common for Indonesians to be funny on stage being watched by many people. That is something that we are hopefully going to change this evening. So finding your inner funny, this workshop or this presentation, I don't know how to call it, is that I am here to ensure all of you that we all have what it takes to be funny. Whether we are brave enough to do it, that's a whole different issue. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that I'm not funny, well, that's what you think. Doesn't mean that's what you are. Because I have seen a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, and they all can be funny if they go through the necessary training. All right? Being funny is not a talent. Being funny is a skill. And like any other skill, it can be learned. Right? Now, first of all, here is the misinterpretation about a funny person. We all think that once a person is funny, on stage, on camera, then he is funny 24/7. He is funny when he's sleeping, he's funny when he's in a toilet. It doesn't work that way. All right? Funny needs preparation. That is why, most likely, if a person is trained to be funny, on a stage, off stage, he'll be somebody entirely different. Right? I mean, maybe I am funny on screen, on camera. Maybe I am funny on stage, but off stage, I am a totally different person. I prepared my jokes very seriously. I coach people very seriously. That is why it is mostly said that comedy, ironically, is a serious business. All right? But that doesn't matter. You can be all serious off stage as long as when you're on stage, you perform. You perform wholeheartedly. As long as you stay true to yourself on stage, off stage doesn't matter. Now, most likely, that is something that most Indonesians do not know because they're not used to it. We need to change that this evening. So, that's the basic, ladies and gentlemen. All right? That's just a warm-up before we go into this actual discussion. Now, let me ask you. Okay, and please, you can answer in chat. Yeah? What is your most embarrassing moment that you have ever had? Your most humiliating moment that you ever had? Okay, for those who are willing to share, please write them down in the comment section now. Right? And please don't be shy. Well, if you're shy, you don't have to write. But if you're, oh, okay, we got a few. We got a few. If you want to read also, ladies and gentlemen, open up your chat and you can see some people already sharing. All right. And thank you for sharing for Mr. Laikok Fook, Mr. Edi Swipe, Mr. Andre, guest Andre. Oh, guest and sharing. Very nice. And also Ilios. And the rest that I can't mention one by one. Now, please read those short sharings by our participants in the chat box. And I can see already on your face right now, you're laughing. Yeah, you're laughing when you read people's shame. All right? What does that mean? That means, ladies and gentlemen, that other people's tragedies are our entertainment. That's what comedy is. Tragedy is comedy, right? It may be painful for them, it may be humiliating for them, but when they share it, people laugh. You laugh. It is not something wrong. No. It's meant to be that way, right? In fact, some people say that's how they make peace with their problem, by sharing it and entertain people because of it. All right? But that's another thing. I'm saying that let's take a look at these stories. Rejected by prospective girlfriend. Ooh, that hurts. That hurts, by Ilios. Okay, but that is the source of comedy. The worse that you're rejected, the funnier. Okay, more importantly, the more often that you got rejected, the funnier. Compare this. I got rejected yesterday by my girl that I love. Okay, That's bad. Compared to this, I got rejected 5 times last month by the same girl. Which one is funnier? See, the second one. Why? Because it is more tragic. The more tragic, the funnier, ladies and gentlemen. And what else? Torn pants. Torn pants is funny depending where you tore it. Right? If you tear your pants in public transport and everybody's looking at you, that's funny. Somebody fell in the middle of field while there's a ceremony. That's funny, especially if you're the only one falling. Right? So all eyes are on you. When you were, Andre said, when he was picking a friend off a friend at the airport, and it can be funny depending how the interaction goes, right? I mean, if you approach the person and there's an awkward conversation, it became funnier. Imagine if you notice you approached the wrong person and then you went away, you go away, that would not be funny. Right? But if there is a conversation and interaction that will push the shame even further, the story becomes more tragic and thus it becomes funnier. Telling a dirty joke in a contest, Toastmaster contest, wow! That is not just funny, that is brave. Oh my God, this is so good. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is a smart comedy. Who said this? The grammarian. So, okay. I walk into the gents' toilet in China. First of all, that's funny because the grammarian is a lady. Second of all, do you know how horrible is the toilet in China? Right? That does not even need explanation. So first of all, that's like 2-layer comedy. First of all, you walk into the wrong toilet room. Second of all, it's a horrible toilet room. Very good. All right, I have to cut this. I have to cut this. There are so many in the comment box right now. Thank you for participating. Thank you for participating. My point is this. Because of the activity and the participation that we have in the comment box, it is clear you all have tragedies. You all have embarrassing moments in your life at one point, right? So that means you all have the raw materials to be funny. All right? So you have funny. The question is, how can we work on those raw materials and make them into performance jokes? All right? Because now you have the raw materials, but we have to cook them. We have to compose them to become solid jokes so you can share them on stage, right? Now, because having a raw comedy here is a starting point. But what's the ending point, right? I would assume that you would like to perform using your stories, your tragedies, okay? So the question is how to wrap them. First of all, I'm going to share some formulas, stand-up comedy formulas after this. But that come later. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, remember what I said earlier. The more tragic your story, the better. Sometimes a very tragic story does not even need formula. It is already funny as it is, right? And it's good because it's pure. And it's very rare to find stories like that. So if you have tragic stories, make sure it is so tragic, right, that it makes people laugh because it is so tragic. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry. I need to ask to the TOM. How long is my time for this? Because I forgot.
So you have 20 minutes, then the timer will sign you. So just skip.
Excellent. I think I just spent roughly what, 10 minutes now? I only had 5 minutes. All right. Allow me to share.
Sorry,
Allow me
excuse me.
to share the screen. Can I be allowed to share a screen, please?
Okay. You might try. Can you?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. If I may borrow your 2 minutes for some screens. All right. Is that visible?
Yes, visible.
All right. Okay.
Visible.
So like I said earlier, comedy is tragedy plus time. Why time is here? Well, if you just experience your tragedy 5 minutes ago, most likely you're still in pain. Most likely you're still too embarrassed to share the story. So you need time. All right? Okay, but for example, you experienced your tragedy 2 months ago, right? And you can share it now because you're over it. So you can do that. Okay, and that's why people now can make jokes about tragedies in the past, like the war, like the colonization. We can make jokes about it now because it's hundreds of years ago, and that's why it is justified, right? But the formula is a bit like this. This is the basic formula of stand-up comedy called set-up punchline. Set-up is when you trap people. You guide their mindset into a certain point. Punchline is how you twist the setup. Yeah. Stand-up comedy is always the art of surprising people with your punchline. But you can only surprise people if you mislead them deliberately. All right? So this is an example. For example, one of the great things of being blind is, we would say, is that a great thing of being blind? What, insurance? Health coverage? Sympathy? And boom, the punchline. You would never expect a punchline. You understand? Right? Because the setup lead you to one way, the punchline twisted. All right? So basically, setup is a trap. It's a premise that trap your audience. You make them think A, your punchline is B. And that's why the punchline is a twist. In English, twist, which is very much literally what that was. There you go. Set up is the start of a joke. The purpose is to mislead the audience and to give way to a punchline. Punchline is the unexpected end of a setup. Let's try one more time with one more example. So the context of this joke is that I'm talking to my mom who was suffering from cancer, right? And she was talking to me. Reggie, you want to know what's the best way to lose weight because I'm too fat? And she said, cancer. Okay? I made this joke during the district contest in Kuching when I got runner-up, right? I made people cry and laugh in the same time, almost in the same time. Cry and laugh. Okay, that's why I'm proud of this joke, although it might be a bit of a context. But you get the idea, right? I trap the audience thinking that it's going to be what? Diet, eating vegans, eating vegetables, but no, cancer. That's the punchline. That's the twist. Not only that's the twist, but because it's true. If you have cancer, you are going to lose weight. So there you go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a quick exercise before we go into question and answer, because my time is running out. I am going to give you a setup, right? So you are going to create a punchline. And this is the setup. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? Oh my God, I'll just give link to the, okay, this is an example. I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks. That's the setup, right? Why? Now the punchline will be looking for a downline or waiting for inheritance. Okay? Why is I was trapped in hospital for 2 weeks is the setup about medicine or medical issues, right? But the punchline is nothing, as example, as the examples have shown here. So now it's your turn. You were trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks. Why? And remember, the punchline should not be about anything about health or medicine or hospital, because that's predictable, right? The punchline should be like the examples. Looking for a downline, waiting for inheritance. All right, please write down in the comment box if you manage to find the punchline. Ilios, you know about this workshop 3 times already, so I think you should know. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Before I stop sharing, I'm gonna repeat one more time. You were trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks. Why? The punchline should not be about the hospital, medicines, or anything predictable about the hospital. Thank you. I'll stop sharing. I will check into the comment box now. All right, let's see. I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks because my girlfriend is working in a hospital. Oh, all right. That's like a matter of fact, not necessarily funny. Plus, she's working in the hospital, so that's kind of not much of a twist. That's okay. Thank you for trying. I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks because I was waiting for a handsome doctor. You must be that desperate. So, all right. I was waiting in the hospital for 2 weeks because I want to have the COVID-19 vaccine. Again, not much of a twist. Yeah, it's still about health. It's still about hospital, right? So stay away from hospital, from health, from medicines. This is funny. From Mr. Surya Wahyudi. I was trapped in the hospital for 2 weeks because I was looking for a wife. That's funny because isn't there like other places to look for a wife? I mean, if you end up looking for a wife in a hospital, that's funny. I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks because I was avoiding police officers. What did you do? Oh, Angela, this is funny. And this is very much an Southeast Asian issue. I was trapped in a hospital for 2 weeks because I pulled the door which said push. I did that all the time. Yes, relatable, Angela. Well done. Well done. That is very good. Patrick Wong, I was trapped in the hospital for 2 weeks because I am in the cemetery business. Very good. Very good. right? Almost the same like the downline punchline, but this is also good. Excellent. I was trapped in the hospital for 2 weeks because the hotels are full booked by Lutfi, VTN. Very nice. There you go. See, nothing about hospital, nothing about medicine, all right? And that's why it's a twist. I was sleeping in the mock room because I don't need to pay the rent. You can probably do it. You can probably do that here in Indonesia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough. Thank you very much for trying. Thank you very much for the effort. And you can see that actually most of the people got it right. So before I go to Q&A, let's summarize what we have had in this short workshop/discussion. Number one, you all can be funny because you all have tragedies. Number two, I have given you a format, but you don't necessarily have to follow the format. As long as your story is tragic enough, usually that's enough without the format. Number three, in case your story needs some help, then use the format. Number four, and it is subjective for me, I believe that from what you have and what you have learned, you all can be funny. Thank you very much. So let's go into Q&A.
So if you have any Q&A, then you can post it to the chat box, or you can raise your hand. You can ask directly to our speaker tonight. A question.
So if you have any question, ladies and gentlemen, please write down in the comment box, and I will try my best to answer them. All right, go ahead. Oh, by the way, while waiting for the questions, ladies and gentlemen, being funny is a process, yes? Just because you think you have funny stories and you have the courage one day to perform in front of people, if you fail, don't be discouraged. Yeah, comedians fail all the time. In fact, by failing, we have our own tragedy. And from that tragedy, we can have a new story. So that's how the circle goes.
So can I have questions? Me, as a Tom, Reggy?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So if you see the screen here, then I have two books about humor seriously. That's the first book that I have bought. And also this is the second book that I have bought. So if you see, these two books that I show you is all about humor. But the problem is then none of the sentences here that can make me laugh. There are two possibilities. Maybe my English language is poor, or I have a different culture, so that's why I couldn't even understand the humor. So my question is, what's the problem for me? Understanding this one and understanding this one, right? Life is a job.
All right.
So that's right.
Thank you very much for the question, Mr. Eddie. And also, I think that is relatable to the question from Lutfi. Is there any difference between Asian jokes and non-Asian jokes? Right? So the level of relatability of jokes. Okay. Allow me to answer. Yes. Yeah, you have a point, Lutfi. Some jokes are considered funny by Asian people and etc. So here's the thing. For Mr. Eddie, your book probably are more into guidelines, right? Yeah, those are probably, I think I have a similar book. I have Seriously Funny, but okay. Most probably those books are into guidelines, like the formats, the formula of creating jokes, rather than sharing funny stories itself, right? However, the funny stories that they have in that book should be like examples, right? So they have like a format, how to compose a joke, and then example of a joke to prove that the format works, all right? However, like what you said, most likely the jokes are very much Western jokes. because the books are, you know, are Western books. Now, yes, in comedy, there are there are varieties of jokes. There are universal jokes. There are local jokes. All right? And depending where you're from, local jokes can be very unique to where the area is. For example, if you're in Surabaya, right, then there are Surabayan jokes. And I can make Surabaya, everybody can make Surabayan jokes even in English. For example, I make fun of Pasar Atom. I make fun of Galaxy Mall, right? And those can be funny, but only for Surabayans, right? If I'm from Malang, if I'm from Jakarta, I will not be able to understand that. Yeah? Okay. In Jakarta, you can make fun of South Jakartans. How come they're so cocky? You can make fun of MRT. You can make fun of Bekasi and Depok, right? And most likely, that can only be understood by Jakartans. People outside Jakarta will not be able to understand. Singaporeans, I can make fun about Indonesian maid, right? Because TKI, Singaporeans will understand, right? Indonesians will understand. So there you go. Yeah, it's how you play with local jokes. Now, a good comedians must have local jokes depending where they are. For example, if I were to perform in Surabaya, I would have Surabayan jokes. If I were to perform in Jakarta, I would have Jakartan jokes to relate to the audience. However, aside than having local jokes, I should also have universal jokes. Universal jokes are jokes that can work everywhere because people relate to that regardless where they're from. For example, jokes about relationship, that's universal, right? Jokes about family, that's universal, right? So universal values can be made into universal jokes. But that doesn't mean that local jokes are not important. So there you go. So if a Western is even actually, we will not be able to understand, and vice versa. All right. So thank you for the questions. I hope that answered it. Let's go to the next question. What will you do? This is from speaker number 3. The question is, what will you do if you make a joke but nobody get it? It's your fault. It's your fault. All right? Never, ever blame the audience. If people don't get it, it's your fault. You need to be better next time. That's the only excuse. That's the only solution, right? But never, ever blame the audience. Next question. How do you link together a series of jokes into a speech, for example, about travel? Travel is a very good material for jokes, especially if you travel a lot. If you travel a lot, then you see a lot. The more you see, the more you can make jokes. All right? For example, if you are an Indonesian traveling to across the world, for example, how do you see Americans perceive you as an Indonesian? How do you see Singaporeans perceive you as an Indonesian when you were in their country? How do you see Filipinos perceive you as an Indonesian when you're in their country? All right? So if you're traveling, interact with the people there. So you will know their opinion about you. And most likely, their opinion will be very funny. Because why? Because they know nothing about you. Americans will say, you're poor. You're from third world country, which is not wrong. But the way that they have the audacity to say that out loud on your face makes it funny.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Much. I think we run around the time. So Mr. Reggy, so thank you very much for the time. Sorry for interrupting you. Giving us such an applause for our speakers for today. So what I could conclude is that a funny.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for the participation.
So okay. So Laura, have you prepared for the certificate? Then I would like to take a picture. Okay, so I just share it.
Yes, sir.
So we go. So you may share the screen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And Mr. Reggy. So let me take the picture, Mr. Reggy. So 3, 2, 1. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
We can't hear you, Tom. Sorry.
so now let's move on to the table topic session. So our table topic session will be conducted with Toastmaster John Roberto Sampe.
Hello, first of all, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. So
okay, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting. Good evening. It's getting late evening here in Kupang, different time zone. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, I would like to say that we are coming to the last session of, it's one of the most interesting session of the meeting. And I'm trusted here to be the table topic master of this meeting. My responsibility, as it has been previewed before, that my responsibility is to control the running of the table topic session. Well, allow me to start my role by familiarizing the concept of table topic. Short explanation, table topic should be the most interesting, one of the most interesting session, since it adds the elements of impromptu. Meaning there will be questions related to the topic and you are all challenged to speak right away for allocated time. Guests are also invited to engage in this session. Without any more words, would you please allow me to share screen?
okay, let's try.
Okay, hold on. Okay. All right, give me a second. Okay, now, oh, almost close. Okay, now I have provided 6 impromptu questions that is relating to the topic, find your inner funny. I guess it all has been explained very well by our educational speaker, Toastmaster Reggy. And this is elements for you to actually showcase and develop your skills in that regard. So I would like to challenge all of the participants here, all the audience here, to pick your numbers and actually answer the question. I also want to make you guys aware to emphasize on the word of the day, hilarious, during your speech. So without any further ado, who wants to be the first funny one? You may pick your number. Yeah, since I
Test
can...
maybe. You can call Maru test.
Okay, yeah, I'm so sorry. I couldn't I couldn't take a look at the chat box. That's why would you please just unmute. Okay, Marutes, would you please pick your number? What number would you like to pick? We have 3. Number 3, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So the question is, what is the sexiest and least sexiest name? What is the sexiest and least sexiest name? Okay. All right. Time is yours.
I'm not
Hello?
getting the question actually. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah, what I mean by that, like, okay, what the name that you think, sexy doesn't have to be interpreted, as it should be, but it can be interpreted like, for instance, like, where are you coming from, the original of your place, what is the name that holds special meaning in terms of funny, in the matter of funny, and what is the meaning that, because sexy and least sexy can be interpreted as funny as well. I hope that that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello everyone. I'm Marutesh. I'm from India. Um, and I'm India. I'm from India. The some of the names like in India we have some of the dresses that looks very nice. For men's there is jubba pajam and kurta, sherwani. These are some of the dresses which look men's very nice in that dress. This dress are we usually use for the festivals, and for women there are some of the sarees. In India there are more than 28 states are there. In every state there are different dresses, culture. Every states have different cultures are there, and the wearing of dresses, sarees also is very different. For women, the sarees looks very nice, and this is one of the good dress in India. Even though they wear any other dresses, jeans pant or t-shirts, anywhere also, but in the sarees they're very nice. This is some of the wonderful dress. And next, coming to the men's, men's also in India there are so much of states and culture. In south part they will use the panje and jubba for men, and in north side they will use sherwani. So like that, the sexiest thing is the dress is very sexiest thing. Now even when we wear the dresses, it looks very beautiful. That impress another aspects. Like that, dress is one of the most attractive thing, and it helps us to do personal branding. Like that, I would like to conclude that dresses, wearing the dress is one of the sexiest thing in the people. Thank you. Over to David Master.
Thank you very much, Maritas. Yeah, it's actually quite humbling to actually see and witness the intercultural names and the meaning. Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to invite another speakers. Oh, we have the list here. Hold on, let me say this first. All right, I have to. So, yeah, let me go back. Okay, all right. Let me see. The next speakers, the next impromptu speakers is Toastmaster Ronawati.
Yes, I'll choose number 1.
Okay, you'll choose number 1. Okay, just before I'm letting you know about the question, I'm just going to remind to allocate the timer screen before speaking, so you can control the time of yours. Okay, let me open number 1. Yeah. Okay. If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called? If peanut butter wasn't called peanut butter, what would it be called? Do you understand the questions, Toastmaster Ronawati?
I understand, but still
Okay,
thinking.
okay, I will stop the share.
If peanut butter is not called peanut butter, what is it called? It has to be something humorous, right? So it has to have a punchline. I was thinking maybe it's jelly or jam, but that is not something funny. So what is it that kind of memorable? I would prefer to call it nutmeg. Nutmeg is a fruit which you can utilize everything from the nucleus to the meat and to the skin. So everything in nutmeg you can use. It has a little bit of similarity in peanut in the sense that peanut is using the seed as the peanut butter. But nutmeg jam is actually using the skin and the meat. And the seed itself, we use it in cooking. So I would call nutmeg, which can be anything that is useful to us. Everything is useful, which we can use for many, many purposes. And that's what we have to be. We have to be someone who is useful inside and out. So be a nutmeg. So back to TTM.
Thank you very much. Well informed, very informative. Well, it's also hilarious. Nutmeg, the choice. Very educative, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much again, Toastmaster Ornawanti Wongso. Our third speakers would be Toastmaster Tugu.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What number do you pick?
Let's say number 6.
Number 6. Okay. What secret conspiracy would you like to start? What secret conspiracy would you like to start? Okay, if you have understood the questions, allow me to stop share. Yeah?
Okay.
Perfect question for Teguh.
Time is yours.
When we are thinking about whether or not to prevent your speech to be not a tragedy speech, then I think it is going to be part of it. I'm trying very hard to think how to do it to prevent my speech to not become a tragic one, is to convince everyone that actually I'm convincing. That is actually the conspiracy that all of us as a public speaker would like to perform in front of our audience, right? Even if, for example, you aren't really that sure, or even if you are even really sure that you are not convincing enough, or probably the materials that you're bringing in front of your audience is not really correct or not, but you have to try to convince your audience that your materials is actually really convincing. That is probably one of the conspiracy that we can try to convince the audience. Having the background as a debater, that is also the things that I used to do in the past. When, for example, I would like to try to bring the materials or try to bring an arguments, even if I believe that somehow there is flaws inside my arguments, I have to try to convince the audience that somehow my speech or my argument is actually the right one, even if I'm not really sure if my argument is actually the right one, or even if I believe that somehow I really sure that my argument is actually the wrong one, but I have to try to convince the audience that my argument is the right ones. So that is somehow the way how I try to make conspiracy, that try to convince the audience about the things right ones. And I believe that is quite hilarious because somehow I believe that it is faking the things, but you are trying to make sure that the audience is somehow convinced with the things that you are saying. That is going to be very difficult, but I think that can be tried also. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Teguh, thank you very much. I think I can relate to your story. I'm not a debater, but as someone who studied law, getting into argument in and out the court is requiring skills to convince another party and build our cases. I think that's a very interesting way to put it. Okay, now let's get to the next question. Okay. Okay, give me a second, I think. Can you see my, can all of you see my slide? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay, now. Okay, the next speaker will be, oh, sorry, let me go back. Hold on. Yeah, Toastmaster Yu King. Are you there?
Hi.
Hello, yes. Okay, so what number would you pick? Number 1, 3, and 6 have been all taken. So number 2, 4, or 5? Can you come again?
2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me read some facts here. Slapstick is very obvious humor which involves people falling over or being hit with foot. Your thoughts? Slapstick is very obvious humor which involves people falling over or being hit with foot. Your thoughts?
I've often seen slapstick humor where people fall to the ground. Do you remember one of the winning Toastmasters speech for an international speech contest where the guy just falls to the ground and stays on the ground for a very long time? I love that kind of slapstick humor. But if you were to ask me whether I see slapstick humor as something where, people have food in their faces, I've never seen that. But if any of you would like to try, I would love to see it. I think humor is something that is very personal to all of us. All of us love a funny story. All of us love something hilarious because it makes us feel at ease, lights up our day. The most interesting slapstick comedy that I have seen is actually from a show called The Return of Superman, where a little kid, William, if for those of you who watch, he's so good at slapstick comedy. I think that's the thing with kids. Kids are often just themselves. They don't fear being judged by others. They are able to perform slapstick comedy when some of us as grown adults, we are afraid. We're afraid that we're embarrassed ourselves. We're afraid to go out in front of people, to fall on the ground. Because what if people judge us? We are afraid to go up to the stage and have food in our face. Because what if people don't like us with cake dripping around? People take photos of us. People upload our photos to Instagram, to Facebook. Our careers might be ruined forever. Well, ladies and gentlemen, slapstick comedy is interesting. Slapstick comedy makes people laugh, makes people feel happy. So try slapstick comedy, whether it is you falling or whether it's you having food in your face. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think we all need a little bit laughter, yeah, especially during this very challenging period of time. Okay, actually, I was very enthusiastic. We were all very enthusiastic to go ahead and finish all the questions, but due to the time restriction, we are getting very late. It's very unfortunate to inform that we limit all the participants. That Yu King would be our last table topic speakers. Therefore, my duty here is done, and I would like to give it back to the Toastmaster of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Table Topic Master. Give us a virtual applause for all of us here. So before we move on to the next session, so let me ask for the timers. All the speakers are eligible to be voted for the table topic session and also for the prepared speech.
For the table topic, only Toastmaster Marutesh is not eligible for the voting.
Okay.
All three are eligible.
Okay, only Toastmaster Marutesh. So Laura, could you please share the polling? So everyone here could. Okay. Okay, while waiting for the polling to be shared here now, let's move on to the next session. That would be individual evaluation. So individual evaluation, that would be the first evaluator for the first speaker, Toastmaster Elios.
I'm here.
Okay. Yes.
Can I start my session?
Oh, yeah.
General evaluator session?
Yes. Sorry. Let's move on to our general evaluation to lead this session. DTM Toastmaster Alan, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the meeting. Now we move on to our last session, which is the evaluation session. Our first evaluator for Speaker Surya Wahyu Dianto is Toastmaster Elios Theophilus Gandawijaya from Empire Toastmaster Club. He's the Vice President of Membership of Empire. He's a very active member within only how many months? 4 or 6 months? 4 to 6 months. He met a lot of people, probably more than the people I met during my 14 years. He's an author, he's a podcaster, and he's very active. He attends meeting almost every day. Not only once a day, but maybe more than 3, 4, 5 times a day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to our next evaluator, Toastmaster Elios.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to witness our speaker today. Surya already delivered a great speech. And welcome back to Empire for such a long time. And we have you here as your home. Thank you for choosing us on Empire. And let me define that you have finished your purpose statement of your icebreaker, that you have introduced yourself into the club. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big applause to our newest member, Surya Wayudianto. Thank you. And then I put that check mark for you. Good job. And then, number 2, you have learned basic structure of public speaking. That's how we can improve our skills. I know that you are a very professional speaker and you are eager to learn. So you have a never-ending mindset, never-ending learning. And I put that check mark for you. You have achieved your second goal for tonight. Good job. And then let me use your name, Surya, as you are GA as your evaluation. As it is superb icebreaker, a touchy speech that inspire us. Thank you for delivering such a great inspiration for all us here, and you understand the situation that you have here, and I can relate to your story because I have the same experience with you. And then R, it is relation. Relation is very important, especially for our loved ones. In this context, you tell us about your father and how you has spent your young experience life. And then G, I'm sorry that suddenly my connection is lost. So I joined you after 2 or 58 minutes. So I only evaluate you from the minute 2:49 until 6:59. So next time you should try to adjust your time as well, that you should not go overtime. You already overtime because this is icebreaker, 4 to 6 minutes. Try to fit into the time scheduled. And then A, you have a great achievement. So congratulations for that achievement unlocked. But remember to keep a better relation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have witnessed a great speaker in the making. Back to you, Chi.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Elios. Now we move to the second evaluator who will evaluate Speaker Titin Ningsi. And she is Toastmaster Yenny Mok from Medan Miracle Pidato Club. She is the president of MMPC. She is a podcaster. She's a teacher. She owns her own school. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Toastmaster Yenny Mok.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Climb high mountain, yawning, looking, and all. Congratulations, Toastmaster Titin. You've done very well. Toastmaster Titin, this is your first time to deliver a speech. I cannot believe that you deliver your speech is very good. And if nobody know, if I not mention about the icebreaker, I'm sure everybody believes that you are more than icebreaker level person. So congratulations, you done it very well. I already write the note that you very excel with the basic speech structure, your opening, your body, and you have a very good conclusion. Your opening speech by asking and singing. Your question is like life give a lemon. You make lemonade and then you just show the prop of lemonade. I want to know that you already drink the lemonade. If you don't drink it, just send it to me. Then you have very good preparation with all the props that you prepare, and you have very good confidence. So this is the nice part from your speech is the first. If you wanted to deliver the speech when the Tom or me as an evaluator explain about what will you deliver, you must make sure first you want to deliver it by stand up or just sit down. So if you are stand up, make sure all the screen, this is exactly at your side. So it will not cut out your head or maybe on your forehead. So if you want to make sure if you are delivering you standing, just keep it all the way standing because it will not very easy for us to keep on changing the camera. Because I found out when you're delivering the speech, you're talking with your mommy and your mommy will sit down. So it's better just move like this, maybe your mommy at the right side or then the other side is you. Okay, then the second is, it's very nice you bring a lot of props, but sometimes too much of anything is bad. So if you want to bring a lot of props, just be patient, be slowly. We still have a lot of pathway to do, to deliver, to use all the props that you want. So if you deliver the speech that's more than 5 or 7 minutes, you can take more. So just prepare 1 or 2 props in the beginning and the end. So what you started, you end it with the same prop. So don't put too much prop at the middle of your speech. And the challenge for you is, I want to challenge your vocal clarity. Even your clarity voice is very clear for me, and I believe all the audience, but your vocal clarity is less. And while you are talking, just try to practice your eyes. Just look at the camera directly. So I can look through to your eyes. And use your maximum time because your time is only 4 minutes 42. I believe you can do it better. Thank you. Back to our GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jerry Mock. Now, we apologize that the next evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Subhan, is having a connection issue, so he is not able to give the verbal evaluation to Toastmaster Sharif Mansur. So in that case, we will ask him to give the written evaluation later on. And now we move on to the next evaluation, which is the 4th evaluator for speaker Yankee Islianto, who is going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Aryani Sanjung. She's from Essential Toastmaster Club. It's a very keen Toastmasters and very, very active and helpful member of Toastmasters. Now the time is yours, Toastmaster Sanjung.
Thank you, DTM Arlan, for the opportunity. Am I audible to you all? And am I visible?
Yes.
Am I audible? Thank you, everyone. Toastmaster Yongki, thank you for your such inspiring speech or your story. You comply your project. It's about evaluation and feedback as the objective is to deliver of speech about informative or humorous and inspirational to the way of my thinking as the audience. What makes I feel comfort and diving into your speech is first about your performance. I get the essential point because you delivered the message clearly to the audience, and also you can embrace all the audience. And the second is I like it because you deliver and transform or transmitted the positive message. That's about the dare to failure, as I hear from you that there are several examples that you told to us about failure of public figure, such as the Kung Fu Panda or the Walt Disney, J.K. Rowling, and etc. And the other things, as the audience, I feel more comfort or you will give the more powerful speech if you can to combine or relate it about this failure into your experience. As I know, you also mentioned about the experience when you confront the several failure of your assessment of your examination, such as and also you can make your example more concisely, such as in the opening, you deliver about the story of Kung Fu Panda, it's detailed. So you can just to put the story of Kung Fu Panda with the strong point of the failure, such as about Disney founder is failure because he is the one who have no talented skills. And also for me, you can combine it or such as I have failure on many examination. When I was a student, many friends that humiliate me because I always the failure one. But what happened with me tonight? I can show to my friend that I can still survive at this time. So this is the story of yourself and also the example you will make the audience more embrace with you, because the audience will feel more the soul if the story is also applied into yourself. And the other thing for me is to get your gaze or your eyes is in front of your camera, not to up and down or to left or to the right. And the other things is, I believe you will present a more hilarious speech for your performance because your topic and your title is common for our condition is about failure. And I believe it's more important for you to also give the best your performance into your future with your more detailed experience or your more detailed example as I mentioned previously. That's the evaluation for me. Back to the general evaluator, TM Arlan.
Thank you, Evaluator Toastmaster Sanjung. And that ends the evaluation session. I mean, for the individual evaluations. Now, timer, would you please check or give the report about the timing? All the evaluators.
For evaluators, Toastmaster Elias, time for his evaluation is 3 minutes 11 seconds. Toastmaster Yenny Mok, 3 minutes 30 seconds. And Toastmaster Ariani, 3 minutes 37 seconds. Back to you, General Evaluator, for the evaluation. Or I need to... Only Toastmaster Ariani is not eligible.
Not eligible. Oh, okay. All right. So are we going to cast a vote now or later on? Toastmaster of the meeting?
Yes, you may continue to
report from grammarian.
For the general evaluation.
All right, now we'd like to hear the report from our grammarian. So our special grammarian, Toastmaster Angela Lansbury from Singapore, Brother Heights Evans Toastmaster Club.
Thank you very much. I'm just trying to share the screen. Can you tell me if you can see the shared screen, which should start with hilarious word of the day?
Yes,
yes,
very clear.
Right. I've got 6 slides. I'll go through them quite fast as I've only got 5 minutes, but I can send you the slides afterwards if anybody would like them. Our word of the day was hilarious, which was a delightful and hilarious word. It was used twice by Titin, once by Suban, once by Siarif, and probably 1 or 2 other people. So well done. Excellent for using that, and it was a good choice of word. Some other great words which I heard. I was told that we are blessed to have certain people with us today. I heard about an active member, a helpful member, someone eager to learn, finding fun, which was an alliteration, a repetition of a consonant, title and topical, and my duty is done, and concise. Excellent words. Now, 1 or 2 suggestions for improvement. Someone said listen from, it should be listen to. Someone said take note on, it should be take note of. When you say thanks for or thanks to, you thank somebody for an object, but you give thanks to somebody. Somebody said junior high school, and that's an Americanism. You might want to say something else, or you might acknowledge that it's an Americanism. And somebody said, on the other hand, how many hands have you got? This is my statement. On the other hand, well, I've only got 2 hands, so it should be on the other hand, not on the other hands, unless you're one of these Hindu gods with lots of different hands. I don't think anybody here has got that many. Now on to the next slide. A few more suggestions. Somebody said it's not only happen, it should be it doesn't only happen. Somebody said if you asking should be if you ask. And the other important one is the present tense. He, she, it, everybody, nobody, add an S on the end of the verb. Walks, talks, goes. Now I'll rapidly move on to pronunciation. My last tips. Host rhymes with toast, not hostage, not host, host. Develop, pronounce develop. Somebody said share, it should be share. Somebody said audience, it should be audience. Somebody said applause, it should be applause. Somebody said legally, as if it has something to do with the leg, it's legally. If you're in doubt, use the sound symbol in dictionary.com or Wikipedia and you'll see the pronunciation. I had a hilarious evening. I had a wonderful time. Thank you very much. And please come to my club's meeting tomorrow. You're all invited. And if you need to know more, ask Alan or call me. And I'm all over Facebook and everywhere. I do hope to come again. You're such a good club. Thank you. Back to you, General Evaluator Alan.
Thank you very much, our grammarian, for the thorough and detailed report. Now we'd like to move on to our next evaluation team, which is the ARC counter. So our ARC counter of the day is Toastmaster Lindawati.
Okay, thank you for our general evaluator, DTM Ireland. So in here, I'm not, is my screen visible?
Yes, visible.
Wait. Uh-oh. Is it in full screen?
Yes.
Okay. For the first prepared speaker, I would like to say you are amazing, our Toastmaster Surya Wahyu Dianto. You did no filler sound, but you had 2 pause fillers and you overused words such as well and you know. For our second prepared speaker, Miss Titin Ningsih Toastmaster, you are also awesome. You did it perfectly. You did no filler sound, no pause filler, even no overused words. Congratulations, you did a great job. And for our third speaker, M. Sharif Mansur Sisi, you had some filler sounds like 3 times, 6 times, pause filler once, and you had 1 overused word which is and, but well done for your speech tonight. Moving to our fourth prepared speaker, Toastmaster Yankee Islianto, you did several filler sounds like once or twice. You also did pause filler twice and you had overused word which is so. Moving to our first evaluator, Elios Theophilus, you were doing all great. You did not have any filler sound, no pause filler, but you overused the word and then. Our second evaluator, Toastmaster Yanimo, you did not have any filler sound, no overused word either, but you has 1 pause filler, but that is already awesome. Unfortunately, our third evaluator did not had internet problems. So going to our fourth evaluator, we had she had 1 filler sound, which is R, but no pause filler. Unfortunately, there was overused word and also. Moving to our table topic speaker, Maritesh, you had several filler sounds, 2 pause fillers, and you overused the word maybe and the word and. But you did a great job. Moving to our second speaker, she did no filler sound, but she had 2 pause fillers, but no overused word at all. Moving to our third table topic speaker, Toastmaster Teguh did not have any filler sound or even pause filler, but he overused the word I think. And for our last table topic speaker, but last but not least, Toastmaster Eugene, she did not have any filler sound or overused word, but she had pause filler twice. Everyone did awesome tonight. Back to you, our general evaluator, DTM Arlan.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Linda, for the beautiful pictures. Most important is the reports that you put on that beautiful slides. All right, now report from myself. I know this is way too late already. It's over 18 minutes over, so I try to make it short. Well, the meeting runs very well, and there's a lot of preparation, so the meeting was well planned and well executed. When I entered the room, I was greeted by some people. So in Empire Toastmaster, we don't assign any particular person to greet participants. It's mostly Zoom masters, SAA, Tom, or whoever comes early. So our 3 p.m. today did a very good job. He did send a lot of hi messages through chat box. I think every single person that he greeted. I know it's very important to say hi, initiate a small talk to participants so they feel welcome. Just imagine when you're checking in into a 5-star hotel and you're always greeted by what we call GRO, a guest relation officer. And GRO will walk you to the elevator or even to your room. While walking, it will explain all the facilities and basically, he or she will welcome you, and the GRO hands over the room key to you with great smile, and as a guest, you feel welcome. Now, let me start giving you the report by chronological order. The first is the greeter, and then the Zoom master, or we call it the host, which is done by future Toastmaster Denny. She's in charge of opening the room and sorting out any technical issue in general, providing the IT support. And she came in about 20 minutes prior to the assigned time. Acting as a future Toastmaster Renault explained, actually it was explained by our Toastmaster of the meeting. Then our president, distinguished Toastmaster Subhan, officially called the meeting to order, followed by welcoming the participants, including the guests. He gave a very great opening speech, brief, and then introduced the Tom. Actually, today I miss his singing. Normally he starts with singings. And our Tom, Toastmaster of the day. You know, in Indonesia, we call it Tom. I remember when someday there is a guest from Malaysia and he asked, what is Tom? And I told him, it's Toastmaster of the meeting. And then he was laughing. I know what he was laughing at. He wanted to ask, where is Jerry? Then I asked him, what do you call it in your country? Toastmaster of the evening. Oh, then you call it toe. So you want to check with your toe now? Toastmaster of the meeting created a team, which is very, very useful. He even did a dry run yesterday, and it was really amazing work prepared by Tom. So I would suggest maybe in the future, Tom or VPE can create a WhatsApp group just for coordinations, you know. And it will be very effective because we can refer quickly and easily as a reference to, yeah, so that we know what we are supposed to do. And today, Tom has been a very good in control, and every job has been done perfectly. Even there is no physical clapping, no handshaking, but Tom has somehow created an ambient which is enjoyable and fun to everybody. I think because of his smile. Tom has explained the meeting theme, and in the prepared speech session, Tom has introduced each speaker with a bit of speaker's background, announced the speaker's title and timing. And he also explained the three sessions, and the transition between the three sessions was quite smooth and no major hits. Now, table topic master. The table topic master has explained the purpose of table topics, and the topics selected are appropriate and fitted the meeting theme. And table topic master has prepared some slides showing questions that speakers pick. And it was very, very beautiful slides. And he explained each topic briefly, less than 1 minute. And due to time constraint, he has to cut, you know, his time to only 4 speakers. Now, grammarian. As I mentioned earlier on, we are so blessed today. We have our esteemed grammarian, Toastmaster Angela Lansbury, ACGALB from Braddock Height Advanced Toastmaster Club in Singapore. Actually, we'd like to invite you again for the next grammarian, the next meeting. Would you like to do that?
Thank you, I'd love to.
There are 3 main things that Toastmaster Angela was covering. The word of the day, she took note who used the word of the day, and she also explained the incorrect use of English language and proper use of words, mispronunciations, poor sentence structure, and some suggestions. Yeah. She also counted excellent words, beautiful phrases. Excellent job, Toastmaster Angela. Now the R counter did count every little things, filler words, pause fillers, overused words. And what is good about her report is it was written nicely on slides. So it's a lot easier for us to check. Beautiful job, R counter. Now the timer explained the timing rule. He demonstrated the use of Toastmaster visual background, very brief and clear. Very nice. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Lai. So in conclusion, the whole meeting was well planned, well executed, and I really enjoyed the meeting. Exciting, fun, lots of takeaways. All position holders were doing their job pretty well, and let's give them a virtual applause. Our Tom has a great control of the meeting. He set the tone of the meeting to be exciting, fun, relaxed, yet serious from the beginning right to the end. And what is the most important thing is Tom has a great team to support his job. And the beauty on online meeting is what we can invite members who are expert in their field from overseas or other cities Today we have an expert in English language and a professional comedian as our speaker. So if you notice, every Empire meeting we always had a short edu session to give our members something to bring home. Even when the pandemic is over, which is unlikely happening in 2 years' time, we still have online meeting. Perhaps once in every 2 months, we have a hybrid meeting because we miss the hugging, we miss the chit chat, we miss the coffee break, we miss everything. What we used to have before COVID. All right, I still have 3 more pages here, but I don't think I will read them all. But in short, today Empire Toastmaster has improved a lot. We have 26 members. Just before COVID, in March, we only had 5 members. Then we improved to 8 members, 12 members, 18 members. Now we have 20 members. Why is that? I think our strategy works. We always insert education session in our meeting. And we used to have 70% baby boomers and 30% millennials. Baby boomer includes me. But now we have 30% baby boomers, and I'm the only one perhaps, and 70% millennials. So our strategy is working. Now we are moving our focus to quality meeting. So ladies and gentlemen, that ends my report today. And thank you very much. Back to Tom.
Thank you very much. This is a very complete thought of the meeting. Distinguished Toastmaster Arlan Setiawan as our general evaluator and team. So we learned a lot from the evaluation session. So before we ended the meeting here, so let's check the best speaker, the announcement. Laura, time is yours.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, everyone. It is time to announce the best prepared speaker, the best tabletop speaker, and the best evaluator. Please give the drum rolls. Okay, so the best prepared speaker is, okay, I will share. Yanki Islianto. Giving applause for Yanki Islianto. And then the best table topic speaker is Tugu. Okay, congratulations for Tugu as the best table topic speaker. And the last, the best evaluator is Yeni Mok. Congratulations for Yeni Mok as the today. And thank you very much. And back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, our balo counter, Toastmaster Laura. And then, because the president of Empire had problem with the technical glitch, don't give it to distinguished Toastmaster Arlan to join the meeting. Toastmaster Arlan, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have now come to the end of our meeting. I hope you enjoy all the sessions, and I believe there's a lot of takeaway that you can use in the future. And I also would like to thank our special speaker today, Toastmaster Reggy Hasibuan, for the insightful talks. It's very, very interesting It's too bad that we have to cut you because it's so interesting. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet up again in 2 weeks' time on February the 16th. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much all.
Thank you, everyone.
You
Thank
can
you,
hang.
Jenny. Thank you, Bu
Thank you,
Harin.
sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Yanni.
Thank you, Alma.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Yankee.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Lovely meeting.
Great meeting. Thank you so much, everyone.
I think